it's Lauren. Today I wanted to share a workout with you using a small ball. This will be a Pilates workout. And you don't need a fancy ball. This one I got for like $3 at Bartell's. Better if it's a little bit squishy. You can totally steal your kid's play ball for outside or whatever you have. And then you'll also want a mat if you're working on hardwood floors. Let's get started. So laying down on the back, we're going to take the ball and place it between the knees. Feet are about a narrow hip distance apart, arms down by the sides. And we're going to practice breathing just a little bit, so deep breath in through the nose. As we exhale, I want you to gently squeeze the ball. Inhale, feel your ribs expand. Exhale, gently squeeze. So pay attention to here as you exhale. Are you trying to curl your pelvis and flatten your back into the mat? Try to keep it neutral. And we also want to try to check in with our inner thighs. So as we squeeze, can we feel them work? And can we feel that work transfer into our pelvic floor and help us connect through our transversus a little bit more deeply? There doesn't need to be a clench, but just a little bit of engagement. Do one more like that. And then we're going to turn this into an articulated bridge. So deep breath in. As I exhale, I squeeze, and now I'm going to curl. And I'm going to peel myself up, nice and slow, one vertebra at a time. Keeping my ribs pulling in, reaching my knees towards my toes, arms are pressing down into the mat. Deep breath at the top. And exhale, I curl back down. Adjust your feet if you need to. Deep breath in. And when I'm breathing in, I'm relaxed. I'm not squeezing, I'm not clenching. Exhale, squeeze, curl, and peel up. Deep breath at the top, keeping the ribs in, shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale, curl back down. Let's do one more. Deep breath, exhale, curl. And notice if you're at the top of your bridge, if you feel like you have a hard time keeping your shoulders down, reach your fingertips like you're trying to touch your heels. That should help your neck stay long and relaxed, shoulders down away from the ears. And exhale down. We're going to lift up our legs to grab the ball, and then lift up our hips and put the ball right under the base of our pelvis. So we don't want it on the spine. We want it right on the back of our pelvis, kind of right above your butt crack. Arms by your sides. And you're going to lift your legs up into your chest. And here you should feel like the ball is supporting you and being in a little bit of a tuck. You do want it pretty even. There. So, through this next series of exercises, you have some options. You can keep your arms long by your sides, pressing into the ground. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bend your elbows. So your upper arm is on the mat, your fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. Or if you really want to challenge yourself, you can take your arms straight up towards the ceiling. However, if you're feeling like you're constantly falling off the ball, go back one. So if I'm up here and I always feel like I'm falling, I'm going to bend my elbows. And if my elbows are bent, I'm going to take my hands flat, right? So finding a level where you can work with confidence, but still some challenge. I'm going to take my hands straight up. I'm going to take a deep breath in. Here I'm thinking about reaching my belly button towards the floor, pubic bone drawing in towards my ribs, and I'm trying to draw my belly in to press into the ball. And I'm going to exhale, tap a toe. As my leg is reaching towards the mat, I have to deepen the engagement through my abdominals. So I'm trying to draw in more deeply, press into the ball more, the farther away my leg gets. I'm going to do one more on each side. I'm going to draw my knees all the way into my chest to rest. And then I'm going to take them back. So here we're in tabletop, knees over the hips, and one leg is extending. And back, and to the other side. So again, I'm always exhaling as my leg is reaching out, inhaling as I'm drawing it in. I'm going to do one more and tuck my knees in to rest. And then I'm going to bring them back to tabletop. Here, I'm going to try to keep my shins parallel to the ground the whole time. So I'm going to start sliding my legs away, but as I do it, I'm keeping my shins parallel to the ground. My legs might not straighten all the way. I'm going to inhale, draw them in. Exhale, sliding out, thinking about that tension, pubic bone drawing towards ribs. Inhale back. Exhale, slide. Ribs sinking towards the mat. How far out can I go without losing anything? It should be pretty hard. And if you go this far and it's really hard and you're shaking, just go that far. Man, hard work is hard work. There's no competition here. Let's do two more. Last one. And knees come all the way in. All right, we're going to do just a couple more things here, and we're going to come into a different position. So back in my tabletop, I'm going to open my legs like a book. So my feet are traveling with my knees. My shins are staying parallel to each other while they open. I'm going to do one more like this, and then we're going to add on. And remember, at any point, if you're starting to feel really wobbly, you can take your arms down. I'm going to take my arms down here for this next part. So I exhale, open. Then, trying to keep my upper leg where it is, I'm going to straighten my knees and come into a straddle. Bend my knees again, draw my legs back together. So opening, extending, bending, and back. We're going to do one more like that, then we're going to make it harder. And I'm paying attention to the quality of my abdominal engagement while I do this. Remember, pooch is bad, right? So if you're getting your legs out here and extending your knees and your belly starts popping up like a loaf of bread, maybe just keep working with the bent knees. That's fine. All right, so hardest version of this, and again, modify if it's not working for you. We're going to open, we're going to extend, and then we're going to sweep the legs together and bend them in. So modifications here might be keeping the knees bent, taking the toes together, taking the knees back together. Or you could sweep your legs into a higher angle and then bend your knees. If you're trying to take your legs low, you have to really think about pulling in through your belly, trying to pull your belly button towards your ribs, and I'm also trying to squeeze my butt to support my legs here. I'm going to do one more in this direction, and then I'm going to reverse. So here's that same slide we were doing earlier. Now you're allowed to let your legs angle out. And then we rotate our legs apart to find our straddle, bend the knees, and come back. So modifications here, you might extend your legs, open out, bend in, and bring them back together. So working more in a diamond. And the ball should also be giving you some feedback about how stable you're able to keep your pelvis. Ideally, we're not feeling any wobble in the ball. I've got a little wobble. We'll do one more. I'm going to put my feet down, lift my hips up to take the ball out, and then I'm going to reach it up over my head or towards the ceiling, giving it just a gentle squeeze. So it's a little small, so my hands are definitely narrower than shoulder distance. The squeeze doesn't need to be super hard, so just a little gentle squeeze. I'm feeling a little bit of work through my chest, maybe a little bit of work through my underarms. I'm going to take a deep breath in, exhale, reach the ball over my head, keeping my ribs in, inhale to lift it up. We're going to do that a couple times. Last one, as my arms are reaching back, I'm thinking about reaching my elbows towards each other, keeping my ribs settled onto the mat. And then I'm going to lift the ball up. I'm going to take a deep breath, nod my chin, and exhale, try to reach the ball towards my knees. Inhale back. Remember that we're trying not to initiate our curl up by tucking our pelvis. So we're trying to keep our spine neutral. Our low back touches the mat here because we curled up that high, not because I was curling my pelvis as I started. So I'm going to curl up, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to reach from side to side. Now, if your neck's getting tired here, you can take your hand behind your head, or you can do this without the ball. It's up to you. Back to the center and lower down. So now we're going to do that same thing. We're going to lift our knees into our chest. I'm going to curl up, and then one leg extends, finding an angle where your abs can support it, so higher will be easier. And switch, and switch, 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 and rest. All right, so same starting position, we curl up. Now both legs extend and my arms extend. We'll do 3 more. Remember, higher with the legs will be easier. Last one. In and down. All right, one more variation here. We're going to do a little scissor. So now both of my legs are going to come up straight. I curl up, and then one leg drops. I pass the ball around my top leg and switch, 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 straight legs. And remember, your leg doesn't have to go as low as mine goes. Last one, knees in and rest. So now we're going to sit up, and the ball is going to go right above the base of our ribs and between our shoulder blades. So here, you should feel like it's supporting you and being a little bit reclined. So not too high up by the neck, not too low down to the low back. I'm supporting my head with my hands. My elbows are lifted up, so they're not super wide. I'm thinking about reaching them up just a little bit towards the ceiling. We're going to work a little bit on thoracic extension here. So that's extending your upper back. So what's tricky with this is what happens with your ribs. So if I was doing this without paying attention, I would pop my head back, my ribs would lift up, and the ball would roll down my back a little bit. I would feel it move. So I want to instead keep tension through my belly, try to keep my ribs reaching towards my hip bones, and lift my head and shoulders up and over the ball. I shouldn't feel the ball moving. And I inhale, lift up. So there's opposition again here. There's so much opposition in Pilates. So the opposition here is ribs reaching towards my feet, elbows and head reaching towards the wall behind me. Deep breath in and exhale. And inhale back. And again. I'm going to do 2 more. And then I'm going to lift up my leg, and I'm going to exhale, reach my leg out while I reach my head up and over. And in, and again. One more like this. And then we make it harder. We're going to add in a twist. So my leg extends, I reach up and over, and then as I sit up, I'm rotating opposite elbow towards me, and extend, and in. Last one. And switch sides. So first 4, just extending the leg. Keeping my ribs in as I arc up and over. Last one like this. And then we twist. Extend and twist. 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to take that ball all the way out. Whew, I'm feeling it. I'll lay down on my side. Ball goes between my knees. Here, if you have a pillow or a yoga block that you want to support your head with, that's totally fine. We're stacking our knees, stacking our hip bones, and I want my bottom waist maybe lifting off the mat a little bit. If you're curvy, when you allow yourself to relax into the floor, your top hip bone hikes up. So we want to stack up our hip bones right on top of each other, and that might lift your bottom waist a little bit. And then here, I'm going to squeeze. Now, I'm not squeezing my knees together. I'm pressing my top leg down. So deep breath, exhale, press down with the top leg. Breathing as I exhaling as I squeeze. Hopefully we're breathing no matter what, right? And then I'm going to lift my top foot. So I'm going to squeeze, my top foot lifts. Think about reaching my heel towards the ceiling, keeping my hips still. So I'm not letting my foot lift so high that my hip hikes, right? So this is our femur in our thigh, and we just want to be turning that bone in the socket without anything else moving. This is internal rotation of the hip. This is super important movement for our hip. And I'm thinking about my heel reaching up, not my toe. So it's not this, it's that. Let's do one more like this. I'm going to take that ball out from between my knees. I'm going to come up onto my elbow, and I'm going to put the ball under my ribs. So I can walk this elbow out just a little bit. It doesn't need to be directly under my shoulder. But I am pressing into the ground and getting a little bit of support from the ball. For the rest of this series, the ball is giving us feedback more than it's giving us support. So we're going to do some clam shells. My hip bones are still stacked. My knees are right on top of each other. I'm lifting my top knee, thinking about reaching it forward to reach it up. And I'm paying attention to the ball. I don't want to feel it moving under my ribs. So if I'm letting my pelvis twist, I'm going to feel myself roll on the ball. No rolling on the ball allowed. Now for our clam shells, we want to feel it back here on the side of our butt, not up around our front hip pocket. So if you're feeling it more around your hip bone, think about rolling your hips slightly towards the floor. Don't try to lift your legs so high. Let's do one more. And then I'm going to extend my legs. So I'm going to take both my legs straight. If you get both your legs out and it feels really wobbly, just keep that bottom knee bent. That's totally fine. I'm going to lift my top leg just to hip height, and it's coming forward and back. Ooh, and I'm kicking something, so I'm going to shift a little bit. Now, this is where that ball under your ribs really becomes helpful, because if we lift our leg too far up, I'm going to twist on the ball, and if I push it too far back, I'm going to roll forward on the ball. So no moving on the ball. Keep your elbow pressing down. Forward, back, forward, back. This might start feeling a little miserable in the side of your butt. This means you're doing it right. And I'm taking both legs together. I'm going to rotate my top leg towards the ceiling, and it's going to lift up and down. So again here, really working on keeping the pelvis still and not twisting. Pressing that shoulder down, keeping a long neck on the supporting arm. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to grab that ball. I'm going to come all the way down. I'm going to put the ball between my feet, right at my ankles. And I'm going to come into a long straight line here. So I should be able to squeeze my butt. I'm still thinking about pulling up through my belly button. My top hand can support me, or for even more challenge, you can take it to your hip. And we're going to lift our legs. So now we are letting our bottom waist press down into the mat as our hips come up. And then I'm going to hold them up, and I'm going to just wiggle the ball a little bit, like I'm doing little flutter kicks, but they have to stay super small so I don't lose the ball. You should definitely be feeling your inner thighs here. And then we'll come all the way down. We're going to grab that ball and roll to the other side. So starting, laying all the way down, prop your head up however is comfortable for you, ball between the knees, hips are stacked. Deep breath, and we're pressing down with the top leg. Just a few here to warm up that inner thigh squeeze. And then we'll turn this into lifting the top foot. So I press down to lift. Now, we should be feeling work here both in our inner thigh and in the outer hip. If you're feeling really fatigued in your outer hip, make sure you're still squeezing the ball. If you have forgotten to squeeze the ball and you're just lifting your leg up, you might not be using your inner thigh. Let's do two more. And then I'm going to come up onto my elbow, bringing the ball beneath my side of my ribs, finding a strong shoulder support. Hips are still stacked, knees right on top of each other, and we do clam shells. Keep rolling your shoulder down away from the ear. Ball's here to give us feedback. Don't let yourself roll. And as I lift my leg, I'm thinking about reaching it forward to reach it up. So I'm not just trying to lift it to the ceiling, but I'm actively trying to get longer through my leg. I'm going to do one more. And then my legs extend. Remember, you can totally keep your bottom knee bent here. Hover the top foot, shoulders down on that supporting arm. Leg comes up. and pushes back. Only as far as we can go without the ball wobbling underneath us. So ball's there to keep us honest. How much range do we really have in the hip? It might not be a lot, but if you want to make it bigger, if you want to increase your range, you have to know how much you really have to begin with. I'm going to do 2 more. And then my legs come together. I'm turning out my top leg, so toe and knee are pointing up to the ceiling, and I lift it up and lower. Two more. Remember to stay connected through your belly. No wobbling. All right, so now ball goes between the ankles. You're laying all the way down on your side, legs in line with your body. Squeeze your bottom, squeeze the ball, and we lift up. Top hand can support you, or you can bring it to your hip for more challenge. And then hold it up, and we do little wobbles. And down. Let's come all the way out of that. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees. Ball is going to go between the knees. So first, we're going to do just a little articulation through the spine. So shoulders down, pushing heels of the hands into the mat. Curl the pelvis. Round through the back. Lift the tail. Extend through the back. And you're just keeping a little bit of a squeeze on the ball the whole time. One more time around and extend. I'm going to squeeze the ball with my knees. I'm going to push down through my left hand, reach my right hand forward, push down with my right hand, reach my left hand forward. So squeezing the ball here really allows you to feel how much you want to shift to counterbalance. We're trying to keep everything still. Think about those low abdominals lifting up the whole time. We're trying to avoid shoulder creeping up towards the ear. So the whole time we're on our one arm, we're trying to squeeze our armpit closed and push the ground away. One more. All right, so now I'm tucking my toes, I'm squeezing the ball, I'm going to hover and hold, shoulders down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Try not to round your back here. Shoulders stay down, armpits are closed, but I'm not doing a big tuck. Squeeze and hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way out of that. We're going to come to sit, and we're going to bring the ball right behind us. So I'm sitting up on my sits bones. My ball is slightly touching me. This is why having a squishy ball is better than a taut one, because a taut one will roll away. And I'm going to extend my arms and roll back. So as I roll back, I'm thinking about trying to pull from my front to press back into the ball. I'm finding a deep curl, so this is Flexing the spine, rounding the back. And I'm exhaling as I curl. Inhaling up. I'm going to curl and hold. I'm going to march my knees. And sit up. Now I'm going to curl back. And I'm going to twist. So here, knees don't wobble. No wiggle on the ball. I'm just twisting through my waist from side to side. And up. I'm going to take my feet together, knees apart, so now I'm kind of in a diamond shape. And I'm going to roll back. I'm thinking about trying to find some support through the side of my hip. Finding all those muscles that we turned on when we were doing our clam shells and slide lying leg work. And on this next one, I hold it. And now I'm lifting my legs again, but keeping that turnout. And all the way up. You can take a little fold forward here. And we're going to come all the way onto our belly. The ball is going to go right on our chest. So kind of at the upper end of your sternum. It shouldn't be all the way down on the girls, but maybe right at the top. Legs are long and active. I'm gently trying to lift my belly button up. My arms are open in a W position, so my elbows are lower than my shoulders. My forearms are parallel. I'm lifting my belly away from the mat. I'm reaching through my toes, and I'm going to slide my shoulder blades down my back and try to roll the ball forward. So I'm not trying to lift myself away from the ball. I'm trying to move it. I'm trying to push into it. Push into the ball. Feel how your shoulder blades drawing down your back assists you in finding that motion. Check in with your belly. Did you relax it when your head came up? Keep drawing it up away from the mat. And back. And again, shoulders sliding down, pressing into the ball. Neck is long and relaxed. Give it a little shake. Shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to do one more like that. And then I'm going to lift up. I'm going to hover my arms, and I'm going to see if I can float away from the ball ever so slightly. Just trying to lift up now. So I'm staying connected through my belly, staying active through my leg. My neck is long. I'm lifting from the middle of my back. And down and relax. We'll do that one more time. Sliding the ball forward, arms hover, and pull yourself up. Belly button staying tight, pubic bone drawing towards ribs, and down, up, and down. One more time. All the way down. And I'm going to come all the way off the ball. I'm going to sit on my heels in a child's pose. Take a couple deep breaths here. Every time I exhale, I want my heels to fall closer, or my bottom to fall closer to my heels. And I'm going to walk my hands to the left. Let my right hip drop towards the floor a little bit. And now I'm breathing into the right side of my ribs. And then the hands through center to the right. Left hip drops towards the floor. and you can sit all the way up. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.